Yeah, we're on.
It's record?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
I have to put the handle on up. Look, yeah.
It's still recording?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, go on.
Okay,
We start, yeah.
You know, something had happened where we was located at, so we had to move. And this is the spot that we're in right now. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna stop. We're gonna continue in the spirit.
You're not passing the wrong way.
And so yeah, what we're gonna do is, brother.
Okay.
What you got?
This is Daniel 5:23. But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee. And thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and the god of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And the God in whose hand thy breath is.
Yeah, so read that verse again, where it says he worshipped the god of silver and gold.
But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and thou hast brought the vessels of his house before thee. And thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine with them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and the god of brass, iron, wood, and stone.
Yeah, so if you look at the statue, that statue was the representation of himself. The king of Babylon, who Daniel was speaking about concerning the prophecy of what was going to take place. So that represented him because, as we just read, it says that he worshipped silver, gold, wood, and the likes. Go on.
Which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is.
And another thing I want to say as well is the fact that the nations always worshipped statues, or they've always worshipped the resources of the earth, but they've never gave reverence to the Heavenly Father or the Creator. And that's something that Daniel did. The prophet Daniel, he was the guy that gave reverence to the Creator. Okay, and he was telling them, look, in due time, your society or your empire is going to fall down. And this is what's written in the scriptures. So the same way it was already written for his kingdom to fall is the same way we're now saying, because we're in also Babylon the Great, mystery of Babylon, which is America. We're under the influences of that empire. So when you have brothers out there teaching the word throughout the four corners of the earth, the main empire that we're prophesying against is that particular empire, because that's the main empire that influences the world, especially the Western Hemisphere. Okay, and Esau has exalted himself above and beyond against the Most High. So let's read on, just like he did. Yes, so read on. And
whose are all thy ways hast thou not glorified? Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this was written. And this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written. Many, Takal.
Yeah, somebody look that up real quick, little push on. Yeah. What verse you in?
This is verse 22.
Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, it was written that the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, was going to fall out of his position, and that the Persians and the Medes were going to take over his position, and they were going to dominate and set up their empire. So, you know, in the ancient world, you've always had empires that rose and that got pretty much put down, and then others were set back up again. And it's no different nowadays, because this kingdom that we're under right now, which is the revival of the Roman system, okay, which is spearheaded by the people of Edom, or the seed of Edom, they're going to do anything that it takes to maintain this system. And this is why the powers that be, they set up a thing called a one world system. In other words, a reset within their kingdom. And this is why, according to the Georgia Guidestones, they want to maintain humanity under 500 million. Because they believe in those plans that, okay, we're going to reset ourselves and want to restore again. All right? And we're going to rule perpetually forever. But no, that's not the case. Okay, the Most High already got a set time for this man to rule. Go on, bro.
This is the word for, was it Tekel?
All of the Medi and Tekel.
Okay, fine.
All of them are.
So this is the word for Medi, it's mana. It says a weight or a measurement. Usually, so it's like it's Strong's H4484 mana. And it says a weight or a measurement, usually 50 shekels, but maybe 60 shekels.
Okay, yeah, so keep going.
And the word for tekel is takal, H8625, and it's a unit of measurement, a weight, or to be weighed. It's a shekel, a unit of weight, shekel. And for fasting, it's Strong's H6537, and it's I believe it's parak, and it says to break in two, to divide, half mina, a half shekel, a unit of measurement and a weight.
Right, so yeah, so let's read that again.
Okay, starting from, where was I? Started 23 from the beginning.
Yeah.
But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven.
Actually, get to the point we
Get
left
straight to
off.
the point.
Yeah.
Verse 24, then was the part of the hand sent from him, and it was written, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written, many tekal, up hazin. This is the interpretation of the king. Many, God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
Exactly. So that's why when you look up the word, I believe it was many that you said. The word was measure. Yeah, brother. The word was measure. In other words, his time. He had a set time that was measured. Excuse me. Just like what it says in the what is it, the 14th chapter of Job. Somebody get me that. Job 14 and start from verse 5. Yeah, read it again.
It's again the word for many. Strong's H4484.
The bar. 1 second, please.
Mana, and it says a weight or measurement,
just hold it so I
usually
can put
50
this,
shekels, but maybe
This
60
in there
shekels.
properly.
Yeah, so it means a measurement.
Just
So
hold
what Daniel was saying is that your empire has a measurement of time on it.
On the front and
Okay, and it's just like every other empire
got it.
that came even prior before he came on the scene, and the ones moving forward after him, they all had a set period of time to rule. Okay, so it's just like this kingdom, as it stands right now, this society is not going to rule forever. The people that's in power right now, they're not going to
Hold it.
prosper
hold it, keep
forever.
on.
They're only prospering for a temporary moment in time.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, like right about now, you see people enjoying themselves in the fair and everything of that nature, but this is all temporal. This is all for a season in time. And just like how you had this week, you had an incident that occurred where you had which was really a major incident because it happened on the London Bridge. 2 people were stabbed, and the article was saying that basically, the article that I read anyway, was saying that they found who it was, and it was someone that was based on a group in Al Qaeda, so to speak. So they're bringing this whole terrorism thing up again, you know. And I believe, as we all should believe, it's one of those cyber attacks that occurred as well. You know, because the thing with Esau's trying to rise the tension of fear amongst the people and get things prepared, because they're getting ready to close up shop with this empire, and they're getting ready to pursue the people with wrath, pursuant to Revelation the 12th chapter. So every cyber attack that you see, and you see these cops gallivanting around doing whatever they got to do, it's really because they're training and they're conditioning themselves for that particular moment in time, the time of emergency, which is what we're reaching into. So going back to the point, Esau has reached his measure of time on this earth of ruling, and after that set measure is done. Once he fulfills that measurement of time, he's going down, and we're in the stages of him going down. So yeah, read that.
This is Job 18 and 11. It says, terrors shall make him afraid on every side,
Yeah,
and shall drive him to his feet.
yeah, and that's what's happening right now, and that's why he's in a state of fear. And another word I want to say as well is paranoia. A lot of these Edomites, that's at the very top. They're very paranoid. Okay, and that's what they're feeling right now. And this is why they move fast with their agenda and just trying to bring out all kind of wickedness that they have in store in the fullness now, because they know that their time is just about to be up. So get me Job, 14? Because Esau's time is up. I'm just gonna put that vibration out there. Esau's time is up, man.
That's right.
Okay, go on, bro.
This is Job 14 and 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee.
Yeah, so his days are determined. Now, when you look up that word determined, the word there is karatazar, which means to cut. So Esau's time is cut. There's no ongoing time that he has. Like what we just read in Daniel's the 5th chapter. How Daniel was prophesying to Nebuchadnezzar about his measurement of time, and after that time that would be fulfilled, the Persians and the Medes would come and pursue and take over his kingdom. Okay? So let's read on.
The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right, and read that again.
Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee.
Yep.
Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right, thou has appointed his time, if I'm correct, right?
Bounce.
Or bounds that he cannot pass. So once Esau reaches to that end of his time, it's a wrap, it's done. Okay, and we can see it clearly now because people are fighting over minuscule things. Like the whole Black Friday thing. You got people going crazy, knocking each other out, killing each other over some goods that they're not going to use for a couple of years' time. Okay? Or even a couple of months' time because they're going to buy something else that's new. Alright? So that's where we're at in this generation. We're in a generation that's pretty much the last one at that. And the Spirit's telling me, man, Esau would be lucky if he goes for another 2 years. And this is why Esau's trying everything in their power to try to get rid of this truth. But let's just say Esau will get rid of this truth. It doesn't really matter because the truth is already out. The truth is already out. You know? We already know who we are. We already know about the end of your world, Esau. And that's just the bottom line, man. And nothing's going to change from that. Go on.
This was verse 6. Turn from him, that he may rest till he shall accomplish as an hireling his day.
No, go somewhere else. That's it on that.
This is Matthew's.
Yeah, you're going. Yeah.
This is Matthew's 24 and 22, and it says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened."
Right. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And this is why time is moving so quick. Give me Revelation, the 20th chapter, where it speaks about that beast will be loose a little season. Well, you can stay where you're at. You can get it. Yeah.
Okay, so Revelation 18 and 2, and it says, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Yeah, keep going.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of their fornication."
Meaning they've lived deliciously with her. You know, they've gotten good deals. You know, business deal. The brother required was going into all of that, man. On how these nations have prospered greatly because of America. You know? Just like you have this one business corporation which is based in China called Alibaba. And what you have is you have this main guy, I think his name is Jack Ma, the owner of that particular corporation. The man's worth like 40-something odd billion, the dude. But the people that's working under him, they're just getting pennies back in return. They're not getting anything back in return. You know? So China has lived deliciously. I'm just naming one country that has lived deliciously with America. Okay, and gotten all kinds of good spices and resources, so to speak, you know? So when America goes downhill based on this nuclear war, what's going to happen? These other nations, they're going to be very well upset about that because they're going to lose all of that wealth that they've been getting. They're going to lose all of that good resources they were getting, you know? And then they're going to just result to back where they were at the first, because at one time China was poor. A lot of these nations that are doing good now, a lot of these nations were poor at one time. Okay, even them Saudis, they were poor as well. But when America came on the scene and started to show these nations what it was and to get them hip on the game, then they became rich. Okay, so these nations, they're gonna go back to what they used to be, poor. And the only difference is that they're gonna become, because really when you look at it, these other nations, they're blessed under Esau's kingdom. But guess what? When our kingdom is set up, they're going to be blessed under our kingdom. But they're just going to have to abide by our rules. They're going to have to play the game that we play, that we want them to play. Just like in order for you to make it successful in this world, you got to play Esau's game. But in our world, they're going to have to play our game because they're going to be in our house. As a matter of fact, the whole earth is our house. So once we run this earth, that's what they're gonna have to do. All right? That's just the bottom line, man. You're going, bro.
The wine of our philosophy, the wine of our fornication, also going into America's philosophies, man. Women equality movements, homosexual movements, LGBT, pretty much that Babylon Jews, man, that America has forced upon all these other nations, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, they've turned around and accepted America's, like right now, you had Iran. Basically, Iran, the football team, they never used to have women around their football, football games.
Yep.
But now they've turned around now. They got threatened by Israel, really. They say they're gonna get cut out from the games, and their teams are not gonna participate in football games, the competitions around the world. And now Iran basically have turned around now, and now the women now are allowed to go to the football games and so on and so forth, uplifting women to be above men.
Even in driving in Saudi Arabia, women weren't allowed to drive up until recently. No, it's not fair, and then now women can drive.
Yeah. So that's all America's. That's all that Babylon Jews, man. That are the wine of fornication, taking up America's ways of life, and from copying pretty much America's ways of life. You know.
Basically, and it's like even down there in India too. At one time, India, they weren't down with that homosexual thing. Now they're pushing it now. They're down with it. So the whole world is taking the philosophy or the philosophy of America, pretty much. But guess what? Because of that wisdom that they've taken hold onto, that same wisdom is going to destroy them. That same way of life that they've taken from America is going to destroy them. Just like how it's going to destroy America. Okay. So yeah, keep going.
So it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Yeah.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Yeah, they're waxing rich. Even those shipmasters have been making loads of money by selling their goods backwards and forwards, and all of that stuff, man. But now we've reached to the point where we're going to reach the end of all of that stuff. The end of prosperity of man is going to be disannualized in this world, in this kingdom. Somebody get me, what is it, man? Give me the scripture where it speaks about, let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to have you brothers look for it, because I got to go see if I'm correct. I want to get the scripture here.
Because America is the biggest consumer of all countries.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, importing and exporting, America imports more than any other nation. That's why every president that comes into power, the first thing they do is go and make a deal with America. That's how other nations have waxed rich off America. I mean, look at China. They went from where they were before to where they are now, man, because of that import of exporting goods to America. Man.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. And now China's become the greatest, what is it, man? Right, exporter. America used to be number one. Now they're number one now. So China's taking over, and then they're linking up with Russia as well, so to speak.
So that American GDP, man. So like the GDP of places like China and that means their economy grows, man. That's why on paper, the next superpower is going to be China, man.
Yeah.
Because
they believe it will be.
Yeah, because they're the ones that's pushing out all these products and they have a monopoly in all industries, meaning that they own 51% or more, at least 51% of major industries, man.
Yep.
So you can imagine how much revenue they're making.
Exponentially. Yep.
That's why they're in Africa now as well.
Yeah, they're setting up shop down there. Yeah.
Buying up all the land in Africa now.
Buying countries.
Yeah.
It's like they're in Jamaica as well, building up the roads.
It's really what China's doing. China's trying to what they're doing is they're declaring themselves to be above and beyond America now. So they believe, okay, if we keep building and building businesses and all of this other stuff, then pretty much we can go overboard of America, or if America's destroyed or whatever, because they all believe that they're going to win this nuclear war. China and Russia, they believe they're going to win. So if they win this war, then China's up next to be the superpower. But that's not according to prophecy, because prophecy states after Esau falls down, gets Ezra's, the 6th chapter. Once Esau falls down, then Jacob's going to rise up. Jacob's going to rise in that seat.
And with China, man, it goes back to that curse in Moab. It's like in the book of Numbers, concerning Moab, because they tried to put a curse on Israel. So really, man, China was never ever gonna rule, man.
No.
In prophecy, China is not there it's not one of the empires that rule before the kingdom comes.
Yeah.
Strategically, they've set themselves in place that they will rule next. They're setting themselves around the world strategically, and trying to take up control with all these governments by giving them loans they can't pay off, so on and so forth. Man. But still, man, but Moab is not gonna rule next. Moab will never rule again, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they already had their time. I don't cut you slightly, brother. Because they already had their time. When you read the book of Numbers, they had their time. You had You had the king, King Balak. Okay, and then he also, like the brother was saying, he got on Balaam to go curse Israel. And they had their little gods, and they had a little, their little thing going on. But prophecy states that who's going to rule next. So it's not in the book of prophecy for Moab to come into power. So no matter what the Chinese does, no matter how prosper they become now, because really China is only prospering under Esau right now. In Esau's time of rulership. But when Esau is down and out, then the next power ship is going to be us. Prophecy.
They're only copying Esau's model, because when you went
Exactly,
when you other than by the sword, Esau, the way he got gain out of certain lands like India, what he did was he bought up all the companies out in India. That's why he had something known as the British East India Company, and he had the Dutch East India Company.
Exactly.
And that's how they got control of the whole of India, by basically buying it up.
Yeah.
And that's what China's doing in Africa right now.
Yeah. I was seeing some other news articles about China, and what country is it? Is it Australia? There was something that China did, but I think their own. I saw the title, but I didn't read the articles. But now, because now it's showing you the influence of China around the world, that they really believe that they can actually, take a hold of it.
Yeah.
Take control of the world.
So and there's also they made a policy in China also that if you want to use Chinese technology, you have to pay a surge tax to use their technology, and if you want to sell your product in China, one of the rules is that you have to share your technology with them, otherwise you can't sell in their country.
Yeah.
So it's all about power, man. Because once they have that knowledge, they're just going to mass produce it. Why? Because they've got the means to do so. And then they'll kick you out of your own industry, and there you go.
Yeah. That's why China have they have their own Facebook, they have their own YouTube, they have their own WhatsApp and everything, and they've got their own, man.
Yeah.
Second Ezra 6 and 8, and it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And when you look at the Roman Empire, when we go back 2,000 years ago, right? What happened 2,000 years ago? Okay, Esau was ruling. Esau was prospering in his way at that time. Okay, and then afterwards, who came afterwards? The people that ruled in the Dark Ages. The Israelites, but they didn't rule as the Israelites. They ruled as something else. So the Lord always set that order up between Jacob and Esau. If Esau was going to fall, then Jacob will arise after Esau.
Yeah. That's why came the Holy Roman Empire, because now took control of that industry.
Yeah, because Jake got up in the power structure, because back during that time of Rome, it wasn't really about the color of your skin or your racial background. It was all based on your your class. If you came from a class of nobles, then you can get up in it, or you went to certain schools or whatever the case may be. You can be up in those higher positions. So what Esau did, Esau allowed Jake in those positions, and as always, when Jake do something, Jake just take over the whole damn thing. So that's what they did. They took over the whole entire Roman system around the second century CE.
What's his name? Severius.
Yeah, but you had other guys, you had other Jakes that came before Severius.
Okay.
And they just took it over. They took the whole thing over, and this is why Esau don't let Jake get up in high positions in this world. because he learned it, like you said, brother, because he learned his lesson. That's why Jacob, as long as Esau is ruling right now, Esau will always oppress our people. Why? Because he knows that there's power in Israel. He knows if he allows Israel to get one inch in, Jacob's going to take a whole mile. And then we're going to take over the whole thing all over again. So Esau ain't going to do that. And that's why Esau does what he does with Jacob, oppresses Jacob, psychologically screws Jacob up in the mind by using this rap music and using all kind of so-called black media to fool Jake, to make Jake stupefied, so that Jake don't come to his senses, because when Jake come to his senses, then it's a wrap. But that didn't even stop the program, because the Lord has his program, and really the intention of the Lord is to get us back to our senses. And this is why we're here, standing up, right, with great confidence and declaring boldly who we are, that we're the Israelites. And that's another thing that Esau didn't want us to come down to realize, is that we're the children of Israel. Because once we come to that realization, then it's a wrap. And then we're going to be praying to the right power that set him up to bring him down. As you just read in the book of Matthew 24, what does that say? I will shorten the days for the sake of the elect. So if the elect are praying day in and day out and crying and day in and day out, right? When we do our sit-down shows and when we come out here, don't you think that the Lord is hearing that? Of course he's hearing that. So this is why Esau is going down fast. And this is why they asked us to hurry up. And they walking around on paranoid and all that. You know? And I don't cut you too, brother. And this is why Esau, they set the agent provocateurs amongst these Christians to try to stop the program of the Heavenly Father, but you're not going to stop them. Real quick, somebody get me Acts 5 and 30, and then we're going to continue on with the topic that I have. Get me Acts 5 and 30.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, read it.
This is Acts 5 and Acts 5 and 30, and it says, the power of our fathers raised up Yahushai, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree.
38, my bad. 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so verse 38, Acts 5 and 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, he cannot overthrow it.
Yeah, and what we got set up here, especially amongst the brothers of Great Millstone, what we're doing is of the Lord. The Lord ordained this. The Lord wants this to go down. This is what the Lord wants. So if this is something that the Lord wants, then who's going to stop it? You can't stop this. Now the Lord will give this the red light real soon. But it's going to be on his time. Whenever the Lord wants to stop something, it's going to be stopped. Whenever the Lord wants to do something, it's going to be done. Okay? Give me Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, verse 14. Yeah, read what you got. Read that.
This is of Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Yeah, and that's what's coming down the pike. Esau is going to express his wrath, because what he wants to do is he wants to prolong his kingdom. He wants to prolong that empire that he has. Because I mean, think about it. If you've been sitting high on a horse for 500 years, you're not going to want to come up that high horse. You don't even know any elsewhere how to live. But live the high life. That's all they know. So when push comes to shove, they're going to be trying to do anything that it takes to continue on their kingdom. But what they don't understand is that there's a power over him that has plans, that has an agenda. And you're not going to exceed that agenda of the Lord. So yeah, give me
Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
Yeah.
You see Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever.
Yeah, so if the Lord wants us to do this forever, it's going to be done forever. But obviously the Lord ain't going to have that go down, because this society only has but a short period of time. But I'm just saying, as a whole, whatever the Lord doeth, it is done forever.
Oh, that's a chariot. That's a chariot.
Rocket to Yahweh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a chariot.
Rocket to Yahweh,
Nice. You probably get that, man. Yep, definitely.
That's
so
definitely a chariot, yeah.
Yeah.
and as the scripture says in the book of
It's
Psalms,
lucky I don't think you get it on the camera.
it
Kinda
says the angels
Cloudy
of the Lord
today. Yeah,
are round about them that fear him.
that's right.
Okay, so the thing about it is Yahweh Shai, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, the Lord is doing what He has to do. The Lord is doing what He wants to do to fulfill what's written. You see?
It's gone now.
It's still there. Still there. I can still see it.
Oh, it's not to fade away.
Yeah, it's still inside.
It's right above us, man.
Yep.
That's the point.
That's too low as well.
That's a plane over there.
Yeah, so this is the thing, man. Like we're in the realms of the Lord. So anywhere you go, you're within the realms of the Lord. You could go to friggin' planet Pluto. You're in the realms of the Lord. There's no escape. So we're just the ambassadors of Him. So if we're sent to do a job, the Lord is gonna make sure that that job is done, and no cop or no being or fleshly man can stop this. So read that again.
Ecclesiastes 3 and 14.
No, Acts 5.
This is
Salakia.
That's all right.
Acts 5 and 38. And now I say unto you, refrain.
Take off the thing.
And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
Right, if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. So if we came up and we all got together, brothers, and we said we're gonna set up camp and we're gonna study the scriptures and we're just gonna call ourselves Israelites. And we did that, right? And it was based on us doing it by our own will. This could be shut down easily. But we didn't come out here and do this by our own will. This was all backed and read by the Most High.
Another one.
Okay?
Yeah, that's a chariot.
Oh, that one,
Not the one on the right. It's gone now. It's disappeared.
Oh, I see it there. Oh, I see. Yeah. The red
You see
light.
it? You
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
That's a chariot.
The
Yeah.
planes don't fly that high.
Oh, it's got 3 lights, man.
Yeah, I don't see
Yeah,
it.
splitting off into that too, isn't it?
Yeah.
See it?
Oh, yeah, right there.
And then
right
on the
there.
middle, the light is flashing on the middle.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Rock the hell,
There
There could be 2 of them, flying together.
But yeah, brothers, we gonna keep seeing them, man.
So see how should I say? Look, keep on going, keep on pushing,
They
man.
keep pushing, yeah. That's it. So yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, this thing can't be stopped, man. This word is gonna keep going and going until the Lord gives us the red light to stop. No, I'm saying the red light to stop.
Oh yeah.
He didn't say go, he said stop,
Yeah,
man.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like.
You're going, yeah. So read what you got.
Yeah, it's like.
Because sometimes you slip with your words, man. You're saying the wrong thing, you know.
Slip of the tongue, not with the
Yeah.
It's verse 39. But if it be of the Most High, Acts 5 and 39. But if it be of the Most High, He cannot overthrow it.
And the lights in the sky now.
Right. Yeah. So if it be of the Most High, you cannot overthrow it. So, and this is clearly of the Most High. It's clear. You know, this is what we're doing is prophecy, because it says that they shall stand upon their feet, right? As an exceeding army. So when you compile all of the brothers together that's doing the work, it's like an exceeding great army that's standing up against this man, prophesying against him. So that's prophecy. So what we're doing is a fulfilling of prophecy. So so now get me Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 9. You finished that, yeah.
Just to finish off, it says, "Ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High."
Yeah, and if you are trying to stop this program, then you're fighting up against the Most High. And that's what Vocab and these clowns are doing. Vocab, Malone, and James White, the Edomite, and the whole Christian crew. And even these other agents and these other spirits is trying to come up against it. They really fight up against the Lord. Because when they see us, they just see a regular bunch of black dudes with robes on. Okay, or even